At this time of year, we're looking forward to new challenges, and some of the things might seem a little bit out of reach, and quite often what's out of reach is a consequence of how fast we can go. And most of the most exciting challenges that we can think of involve hills. And hills really kill your average speed. If you're looking to do an endurance cycling event like a Sportif, a Grand Fondo, something like the Tap de Tour or the Marmotte, or an Audax or a bikepacking event, your average speed over the duration of the event is quite critical. If it's a hilly event, your ability to climb the hills and recover and climb again and recover is the most important factor. And there's a big difference between your ability to maintain a certain average speed on a flat course and your ability to maintain an average speed on a hilly course. It's much more tiring to be continually climbing a hill and recovering than it is to ride at a nice, comfortable, constant speed. There are obviously a few things you can do to improve your performance on hills, like make sure you've got the right gearing, make sure you're not carrying too much weight, make sure you're pacing it carefully, not going too fast at the bottom of the hill so you blow up before you get to the top, eating and drinking correctly. But the most fundamental thing that's going to improve your performance on hilly courses is getting fitter and getting better at riding up hills, getting better at recovering from having gone up a hill on the downhill. Improving your performance on the downhills doesn't make a lot of difference because the majority of your time on a hilly route is going uphill. I like to split it up into two things. So your endurance, your ability to do the duration of the overall ride that you've got planned, the overall event. So you've got to be able to sit on the bike for a certain length of time and continue pedaling for a certain length of time. And that's one factor. And the other factor is how good you are at riding up hills. What's your ability to ride up a hill? How fast can you go in a sensible way? What speed can you sustain? And I like to approach these things separately. I like to approach building up endurance to be able to ride for a long time and improving your ability, your power to weight ratio, which for most of us is going to be improving power because it's quite difficult to lose a significant amount of weight off the overall setup. So improving your FTP really is the thing that we're looking to do to get better at riding up hills. Initially building up the duration of your rides so that you can do a reasonable amount of time, 6 to 8 hours, and then start to work on increasing the hilliness of the route. I mean, if you're lucky enough like we are to live in a hilly area, it's quite easy to find hilly routes and improve your ability to ride the hills and your resilience to doing lots of climbing. If you live in a flat area, you have to be a bit more creative, but what you could do is that sort of long tempo sessions where you work hard for 10 or 30 minutes or even up to an hour and then recover for a bit and then work hard for a bit longer. So you're doing a variable delivery of your average power over time. And then the other aspect is improving your sustainable power. And the way I do that is to aim to try and improve your FTP. You won't be riding at your FTP, your threshold pace on the climbs, but if you can improve your FTP, the actual average pace on the climbs is a lot easier. Having a high FTP doesn't necessarily mean you can go for a long time. Just because you can perform well in a ramp test or a 20-minute effort doesn't mean say you can perform well over a 10-hour event, which is why we keep these separate and work on endurance separately. But if you have got a high threshold power, then you can climb faster for a given level of effort. So your heart rate at a certain speed would be less, and therefore you've got more energy in reserve to use on the next hill. And to improve this sort of threshold power, then you do interval sessions during the week. So you might do 6 by 3 minutes, your sort of 3-minute efforts, 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off, 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off, that are stimulating your VO2 max and improving your power at your VO2 max. Or you might look to do some interval sessions at closer to your threshold, your FTP, like your 3 or 4 by 8 minutes with 2 minutes recovery. The sort of classic Stephen Seiler type session that he introduced some years ago now when he started talking about polarized training. Interval training is just riding above your FTP for a short period of time, recovering and doing it again, so that your body gets upset enough to then try and raise your FTP to improve your efficiency, your aerobic efficiency and your ability to work hard. And then having a test is quite useful to see whether you're getting better. So it's got to be a meaningful distance, it's got to be fairly hilly. Something like a 100-kilometre hilly route is perfect if you're aiming to do longer events, and if you're aiming to do shorter events, something like a 50-kilometre perhaps hilly route would be good. And do that now as a baseline, see how good you are, see how you perform over it, and then you can learn from where your strengths and weaknesses are. And then you do it again in in a few weeks, see if you're getting better. It's a great training session to improve your ability to ride long hilly courses, and it's also a great test to see whether what you're doing is working. I've put together an 8-week plan to help you improve your performance on hilly courses, and we've used our planning spreadsheet. You might have used that for the Randonneur Around the Year or the PBP planner, and you can download that from the link in the description. Please let us know how you get on with it and if we can improve it in any way for you. Hope all that makes sense. Hope it's useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.